superstars, Aidan Toa and Dallin Murphy. Lads, how are we?
Hey, boy, yeah, mate, good, really good.
Very, very excited to be here, obviously. Bit nervous? A little bit nervous. On our bench, the battlers, the gruesome twosome, Big Fat Darcy, Ryan Fellini.
Fellow Terration, mate.
What do I ask you? I don't really have a question, mate. I love you, mate.
Yo, ma, and welcome to the PAC Show. What a perler of an intro we just had then. That's right, my name's Jay Ball from the Pig Athletic Club, and we are coming to you live from the DoubleTake Studios, where we're going to be reviewing, previewing, getting your highlights and lowlights. We've got some corker interviews lined up. We're waiting on the blower right now for James Slipper, the 150-game superstar. Just got word from Zachy Boy that he is on the blower, so we'll get straight into that. But before we do that, Aidan Toa, Dallin Murphy, and the gruesome twosome, Ryan Fellini and Big Fat Dash joining us as per usual. Behind them, Shioni and Tino manning the phones. So, without further ado, let's see what the 150-game superstar has to say for himself. James Slipper, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, good, guys.
Hell yeah, man. I'm loving that little goatee action you got going on there, man. Was that a special thing for the 150th game on the weekend just gone?
Mate, it's been growing for a while, but it's probably nearly time to get going, I think, mate. It's making me look pretty old.
No way. No, one of my questions I wanted to ask, we're all going to ask you a few questions about your career, which is absolutely huge. 150 games in the book in Super Rugby. Oh, mine was going to be, when are you going to bring back the prison pussy, the goatee? I saw last year, man. Last year, you were packing down at scrum time with a mullet and a goatee, and I was like, oh, mate, I am G'd up right now. When are you going to bring it back?
Mate, I don't think the mullet's coming back. There was a point last year that I looked around and half the team had one and thought it was time to grow up myself. I saw young Belly's rolling one now, so I think I've given it to him and he can have it, mate.
Slips, Dossie here, mate. You were always a trendsetter. So just the young boys following a good lead. But no, Schming, it's good to see you. 150 games, mate. You're an absolute legend of the game. One of the best blokes going around. I'll still remember your debut, Reds vs Tars. Unfortunately, got pipped at the post, and you didn't play the next game. And we were all joking that was the end of your Reds career. You happily proved us all wrong, and you went on and what an illustrious career it's been. Slips, what would your most proudest moment, I guess, in those 150 Super Rugby games be?
Mate, just on the debut, that's pretty much Quade's fault for me getting dropped. He missed Cliffy Parley there and lost us the game, so I'm pretty sure I was the one who copped it for that. Mate, I guess over the 150 games, there's a fair few games that stick out. Obviously, 2011 with the Reds was pretty special. I guess winning a premiership back when Super Rugby was Super Rugby, and it was just a fantastic year. And Dossie and Murph were there as well, so that's always going to stick out for me. But to be honest, I've really enjoyed the last kind of 4 years down in Canberra. It's just been a refreshing start for me, and I've really enjoyed my time, and just trying to keep running around after these young blokes is keeping me on my toes. So I'm enjoying myself.
Awesome. Slips, obviously you found some success up here with Queensland. You moved down to the Brums. What is it that's in the water down there that's made you guys so successful? What's the big difference that you think the Brumbies brings that a lot of other Super Rugby clubs don't have?
It's a good question, and I think it's the Brumbies have been, it's proven that a lot of players go there and do get better. I do reckon Canberra itself is a big reason for their success as a club. It's well known. Like, there's not much to do in Canberra, is there? So, you spend most of your days off in at the club, either doing extras or recovery, and there's a good chunk of the boys that are actually from interstate. So, for a lot of us, we don't have friends and family outside the club. So on days off, Dossie would admit this, you get around each other. You spend a lot of time in each other's pockets, and I think that's a real strength for the Brumbies because, time together, you just create those connections, and, you just form those bonds that are. I guess it makes it harder at the Reds and the Tars and other states where it's just the distance to travel and that sort of stuff just makes it tough. But the Brumbies is a good club and one I've enjoyed immensely.
So this, mate, Big Fat Darth here, mate. To try and get yourself to 200 games, have you thought of maybe a couple more years, but just seagulling out in the wing as a winger? No contacts, no passing. Living the dream.
I can safely say I will never get close to 200 games in my life. Hey,
Worth a shot.
I was lucky enough to get 150, mate.
There we go.
Hey, Slip, friends here. Hey, you and Homer have been my favourite props for a long time, but you probably need to get some tips of Homer how to create a bit of more longevity in your career. How many? He'd be up there, buddy, with a fair few. Nearly 200. Anyway, back to my question. Mate, for all the armchair critics out there who are saying, Nella's been dicking everyone's scrums, how actually hard is it to scrummage against him, especially after he's getting older and more wiser in the scrums? How hard is he to bloody stop?
Yeah, it is a challenge. I won't lie. Any bloke who can squat 300 kilos, who's 145, looks like he's eating a sheep. It's going to be a tough night in the office. I'll never forget. Me and Greg Holmes. This would have been years ago at the Reds, and it was probably the first time we saw Nella. He walks into the club at 18, and me and Hosey, we were squatting at the time about 200 kilos, and it took us about 20 minutes to build up to 200 kilos or whatever it was. And Nella walks in fresh faced and he was pretty scared, and he asked us if he could join in. And Holmes was like, "Oh, right, we'll see what this young bloke's got," And then I think me and Hosey were punching out like 2s or 3s, and Nella gets on without a warm up. Just starts squatting it for 10 minutes. Like it's nothing. Hosey looks at me and goes, I'm just so lucky I'm at the end of my career. Coming in. And, mate, the funny thing is Hosey's still running around.
I was about to say.
I know, mate.
He's nearly 40.
That's the thing. Like a lot of people because that was pretty much a Wallabies front row, but, mate, he's just so strong. And it's like, how do you stop that? I think they were a man down too, and he's just too powerful.
He's just too massive. That's the thing. So, Slips, I want to ask you, bit of a serious question, mate. Obviously, you've had your struggles over the last few years. Obviously, what you went through here up in Queensland, you've gone down to the Brumbies, and now to be racking up 150 games. Does obviously the highs you associated with 2011 winning that championship with the Reds, and then obviously what you went through when you exited here at the Reds, and then up again now at the Brumbies. It's been a tumultuous ride, but has it been something that's really helped you off the field, like your game, being able to commit yourself to the game down there in Canberra?
Yeah, that's I guess my career it's been a bit of a journey. There's obviously been plenty of good moments, plenty of highs, and as you mentioned, the 2011 premiership. But yeah, I've had my challenges, mate, and it's well documented what I went through, and I guess no one's really perfect, and everyone makes mistakes, and I think the key is that you learn from them, and I feel like I've done that, and moving down to Canberra and making sure that I was happy off the field was a major key, and something that I really, really wanted to drive home for myself. Just making sure that I was happy off the field, because I over my career, if I'm happy and I enjoy myself, maybe not so much on the training field, but if I enjoy myself and I'm in a good state of mind, I'm going to play my better rugby, and that's something I've always pushed. Later into my career, that if I'm feeling good, I'm going to work hard, especially at training, and then hopefully on Saturdays I get the result I'm after. So to me, it's been a journey, but it's probably one that moving to Canberra, it's one I needed to have, a bit of a change in my career, and I couldn't be happier with where I'm at right now, and I'm just enjoying my footy, and for how many years left, I'm really enjoying myself at the time.
Slips, it's mate, it's great to hear how happy you are and how much you're enjoying yourself. Obviously enjoying Canberra. You're there for another couple of years. Is a move overseas to finish things off, would that be the icing on the cake, or you're not looking that far ahead? You're just going to try and get through the next couple?
I've always wanted to go overseas and experience it. I've got a lot of my old mates, especially ones I've played with at the Reds, who are over there at the moment, and they've just loved it. So I've always kind of thought in my head that I wanted to be a player who went overseas, but probably I wanted to give everything I could to Australian rugby before I did go overseas, and I kind of want to experience that full time overseas and not try and come back and play for Australia. So, I guess the big driver for me was obviously winning a Bledisloe, and still a massive one for me is getting my hands on that trophy as quickly as I can, because it's been a rough ride with that one. But yeah, for me, there's definitely an eagerness to get over there and definitely experience where I guess where the game can take you as well. So I've got next year at the Brumbies, and after that, who knows? But it's probably most likely going to be overseas.
And just on the back of that, Slips, you've obviously had a massive career here, and you've got plenty of rugby left ahead of you. But do you look beyond rugby? Is there something that you kind of have highlighted that you want to work on outside of rugby, or anything like that at the moment?
Yeah, that's another good question. I've just like most other rugby players, I've been doing university for 12 years. Straight out of school, I was doing engineering at QUT. That lasted about 6 months, because I made the Wallabies quite early in my career, and I distinctly remember being in France on a spring tour, and the QT called me up and they're like, where have you been? And this is before kind of online learning and all that sort of stuff. And I was just in Paris, and I was like, oh yeah, look, I don't think uni's going to cut it for me at the moment. So I ended up pushing out of getting pushed out of engineering at QT, and did a bit of architecture, and now for the last 10 years I've been doing a business degree, so I'm nearly finished. But I guess life after rugby is a pretty important thing, for most players, and I'm still coming to terms with kind of where I want to go with that. I'm kind of in the stage where I'm just trying to learn as much as I can in all industries. I've got two brothers who are chippies and by trade, so I could go down that route, or who knows. I'm kind of open for any opportunity.
Enough, mate. Don't do that.
Yeah, you don't need that stress, man. No way. You can come labouring with me.
I'll be a
do a lot of
brickie.
the yeah,
Bricky.
yeah, man. With a
Punching
goatee
ice
like
breaks,
that, yeah,
ice
man.
breaks and the traveller pies, mate. They're so good.
Battlers, anything? Nah.
Well done, mate. Congratulations on your career. I already stuffed up my question before, mate. Now I'm all nervous.
Did you cop a boot to the to the top of your noggin there?
Yeah, I did actually.
Yeah, you can hardly notice.
The other night.
There it is. There it is. I
Jesus.
love it. I love that.
How's the nose?
He's
too?
so
You're gonna
clumsy with his feet. We actually good story with me and Darcy. We have a bet each game because of course they use GPS on us every game now. Whoever gets the fastest speed buys the other person a six-pack.
The top speed.
So far,
On the warm-up, you're just
I'm
sprinting a
winning.
bit.
I'm winning.
You're winning, Slips.
I love it.
Yeah, mate, Darcy's got to be one of the slowest in the team. So.
Something with a name.
That's so good.
Brilliant.
Well, Slips, obviously you've had an amazing career. I mean, it's something that we are all in absolute awe of. And you had your 150th game on the weekend just gone. Explain to us and run us through how it felt, obviously in different colours, being in the Brumbies colours, but running out on Suncorp Stadium against the Fijian and Drua, a new side in Super Rugby. It had to have been a bit of a surreal experience, surely.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I guess playing in front of my, family and friends was really special. It was great to see the crowd turn out for me.
Oh, man.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah,
But,
that's on
playing
our
against
run
the Drua
sheet.
It was good fun. It was actually, because it was a pretty wet game, I was kind of expecting a bit of a scrap, especially in the set piece. But was a fair bit of ball movement and some try scored. So it was actually a pretty fun game to play in. But playing at Suncorp's always been a favourite of mine. It's one of the best stadiums in the world, and in particular for rugby. So yeah, it was a special night. It was a special week, and one I won't remember. I will remember.
You said it all. Love it.
Yeah, no, clearly very memorable. Oh, yeah, well done. Are you sure that boot to the head wasn't more than anything else?
Mate,
Jesus
blue
Christ,
card,
mate.
blue
Yeah,
card.
mate. Might want to have to sit the next couple games out from the sounds of it. But Slips, honestly, thanks so much for joining us, mate. It's been absolutely awesome to watch your career, as we said, all the way from, when you were just coming off the bench in that TARS game to 150 Super Rugby matches. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thanks so much for joining us, brother, and all the best.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Cheers,
Thanks,
Slips.
Thanks,
Have a
Lippy.
good one, fella.
Thanks, mate.
Round of applause.
Yeah.
There we go.
What a man.
King
What a
James
guy.
himself, Slips, joining us on the PAC show to discuss
good.
his 150th game.
Unreal.
That's
I
absolutely
think
awesome.
actually his first cap, it was Queensland country. I was playing Stingrays. He was
Oh, here
playing
we go.
Gold Coast. But basically,
Yeah.
but anyway, long story short, he didn't come on that tour, and he obviously
What tour was he on? The one to France with the
mate,
Wallabies?
just down the Goldie, Dale Salmon and the boys. Yeah, it was good.
Yuck. Probably good he didn't go on that one, to be honest. Alrighty, now let's start getting straight into the PAC news. Tonight, James Slipper was actually a late inclusion. We were able to get him on the blower, so thanks to that for getting on the blower with us there, Slips. But even said, we have a huge night planned. We've got Teddy Teller from the Fijian and Drua joining us this evening as well for our Aussies Abroad segment. That's going to be absolutely red hot. We've got Sam Lane from the Manly Marlins mighty third grade side. That is absolutely stacked. He'll be joining us to preview all the shoot shield action. We've got some PAC news. We've got stuff around the grounds. We have a ton of shit we need to get into, so we may as well hop on the good foot and do the bad thing. Now, 5 topics we've got going along that ticker at the bottom of the screen. Oh, ticker's not on the bottom of the screen. Oh, well, we shit the bed on that one.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, the boys.
There we do. We've got 5 topics we want to discuss, and to keep things short, sharp, and brief, we're going to put a 90-second timer on the clock. Zachy boy, put it up there, Mr. Video Man, and let's get going. So, first up, Ndolo back to Australia. Sydney Morning Herald reports the Waratahs and Reds have signalled their interest in bringing Fiji and Australian powerhouse Nemani Ndolo back down under. Leicester haven't said otherwise, but there's chat that the 30 test back wants to come back. Obviously, went to school with you, Dal, at Nudgee, same grade. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's going to happen?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to happen. I can see him obviously wanting to come home, finishing his career here, and I feel like there'd be a few teams lining up to have someone of his experience back playing Super Rugby. Obviously, the Drua would love to have him, but I don't think that's a viable option, him living on the island next year. But I feel like, if the Waratahs or the Reds or even the Melbourne Rebels potentially could be his best suitors here in Australia.
Well, what do you reckon then? So how much do you reckon they're going to... who legitimately do you think is going to be the option? Who would open up a checkbook to the size to be able to get someone like Nemani Ndolo?
Herbie.
Doss?
I think
Herbie, Jeeps.
You're going to get
Yeah.
some Jeeps dollars, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, see if, McDonald's Newmarket can open up the bank balance a little bit. But Doss, seriously, he would have a big price tag on him, surely.
I think he will, and he'll obviously, I reckon he'd probably have to take a pay cut to come back to Australian rugby, but as Dal said, he'd want to come home, be close. He's at the twilight of his career. I think if you look at the rosters, it's probably the TARS that's the better fit. The Reds are pretty stacked with outside backs.
Yeah.
TARS probably screaming out for someone with a bit of experience, and I think he can, and he's obviously been there before, he's got that relationship, so maybe
seconds
there,
on the
but
clock,
anywhere
Doss.
in Australian rugby.
Rock on. How well did that go? Restart that clock, Mr. Video Man. Second topic. How long before Moana Pacifica and the Fijian and Drua are a legitimate title threat? Doss, we've seen them both get their first wins before the first half of the season has even come to the close. Now they're going to start doing the Trans-Tasman side of thing. How long until they are legitimate, bona fide contenders in Super Rugby?
Yeah, tough question. Look, if we have to put a time on it, I'm going to say maybe 5 years. The coaching staff, everyone just needs to get, acclimatized to Super Rugby, what the competition consists of, how, week in, week out, playing the different teams. Obviously, both teams have the talent. Fiji will be recruiting from home. Moana's a bit different. They will have a bigger pool to pick from, so maybe they'll come in a bit earlier as contenders rather than the Drua. But yeah, 4 to 5 years maybe.
Yeah, but look at, Nems is looking to come home now. Dal, do you reckon if if the Fijian and Drew was able to sign someone like, maybe not Nems, but like a Joshua Tuasova, a Semi Radradra, would that open up the floodgates to those top grade footy players coming back?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I feel like
the pronunciation on that.
I feel like the most important part for them is the development, though. They're going to have a big focus on, when they get back to the island next year, they'll be playing on the island, is the development and bringing guys through. Obviously, you can bring back these larger guys and the most experienced guys, but you've got to have this development program, and I think that's the most important thing for them now and moving forward.
Yeah.
Because Super Rugby is all about depth. The deeper squads are, the longer they go into the comp.
Hell yeah. 3, 2, restart that clock, Mr. Video Man. Who is Australia's next big thing? So, with a somewhat aging squad heading into the next World Cup, there's a number of players heading overseas. We'll delve into that a little bit later on as well. But who, in your opinion, DOS, is the next big thing? Not who are you hyped to see and all this shit. Who is going to be the next big thing?
Aging squad. There's also a lot of young dudes coming through. I'd say Bobby Valentini, Brumbies number 8. He's proven this year.
You reckon he could be like top 3 back row in the world type thing?
I reckon he could be, Wallabies' next Torai Kefu.
Oh,
yeah.
Ooh.
Man, we are crying out for that.
Yeah.
Big time.
I agree. He's improved so much in the last few years,
exactly.
like a couple of years, like out of sight. I agree with you.
It's the progression that you've seen from Rob Valentini that is different to what we've seen from some of the players.
And he's playing
in
week in, week out, 80 minutes. He's proving to be that durable, hard-hitting back rower. That we need. So I think maybe him, in my opinion.
What about you, big fat Das?
I reckon. I reckon Jerome Hughes. I reckon he's gonna next couple of years he's gonna actually start making.
Is he a Kiwi?
Yeah.
I was just saying that.
I was thinking
It's the halfback for the Storms.
Yeah, he is too.
Who am I thinking of?
Jerome Brown. Who is
That's
also
who
a Kiwi.
That's who I was trying to.
So you got,
Wrong show. Dusty's on the wrong show.
Jay was flipped out.
Big Fat Dar's like Sex Panther.
all right,
Gotcha.
Big Fat Das no longer allowed to have an input on PAC News. Restart the clock, Mr. Video Man. There's talk. God.
I rattled you.
Big Fat Das is the worst. Talk of Krebi coming back to Australia. I want to ask, like, why would he? Like, genuinely, so apparently Rugby Pass are reporting that the Drua, the Reds, and Sun Goliath are all options. Why would he come back, Dow?
I think it'd be more to be at home. I can't imagine he'd come back for anything else. It'd be more of a lifestyle thing for him, being back with his family, and being back in probably one of the best countries in the world. At the moment, obviously financially, it's much better for him over there, and he's playing in a competition that suits him as well. You know what I mean? It's not as robust on the body, so I can't imagine him coming home anytime soon.
Dos, would he come home to Queensland, or would he have to go to another one, do you reckon?
I'd like to see him go to another club, just to improve the depth of
Which club?
Play. He could possibly go down to the Rebels.
Imagine that.
But I think with Samu, I think that like COVID in Japan has ruined the experience for a lot of guys over there, not having that freedom to explore. He'd obviously earn all the money that he has the last 3 years, so it won't be a financial decision. As Dal said, it'll be moving closer to home, coming back and playing Super Rugby again.
Do you reckon you get one of those like flexi contracts, like with the Wallabies or whatever, where he's got a bit of an option?
I think Samu could
He'd
get
have
he could get whatever contract he wanted.
I don't know. I could have made that up as well. But I'm pretty sure that's what they do in All Blacks.
That's what it is. Melbourne Storm halfback.
They should start doing it. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
maybe get a contract and he can play halfback for the Melbourne Storm and then play blindside flanker for the Brumbies. You never know.
Yeah.
God damn it, Das.
That was him this time.
No. My God, I hate you. Start that clock again, Mr. Video Man. Shoot Shield or QPR, which is the stronger competition? Dallin, we've seen Shoot Shield have won 17 Australian Club Championships, whereas QPR only 11, but QPR has had 3 of the last 10. So not a great run. What's a better comp in your opinion?
I think it's different. I think the Shoot Shield is a harder competition. It's a lot more experienced. Okay.
Bigger guys.
So I would say bigger guys and a lot more experience down there. So I think at the moment you'd say Shoot Shield would be. It's a younger competition up here.
I thought you were doing your full ScoMo thing again.
But then,
Just
Flopping
Just
back.
answering the question without answering the question. Says a lot of shit, means nothing. But Dos, you played in the Australian Club Championship last year. We saw that perler of a match where Pilsy nailed that kick. in the final play to win it. I want to get your opinion on this. Should the Australian Club Championship be played straight after the Grannies?
Straight after, at the end of the season. It has to.
Because Gordon were missing a few players, and, I mean, you were looking to hang the boots up until that game.
Yeah, I mean, I trained for 2 weeks before that game. So, yeah, not ideally placed. It needs to be at the end of the season. Then you get a true representation of what the teams have been through. Players are current, they're fit.
I mean, they do it in rugby league. They had the Australian Club Championship before the NRL Grand Final, and people be fizzing at the bunghole for it. So I reckon it'd be absolutely awesome. Play it before a Bledisloe Cup match or whatever it may be. Hell of a curtain raiser to be able to do that. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop the clock. We just rifled through PAC News, and we absolutely nailed it in under 7.5 minutes. That was pretty bloody good, wasn't it, Zach? Alrighty. Have we got any comments on the YouTubes there, Sione? No bingo. Okay, cool. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Wow, good engagement from the audience. Where's Kai from Kalenga when you need him? Alrighty, well, on to our next segment then. Before we start going around the grounds to bring you a few things from the players and the clubs around Australia, on the blower, we don't have Teddy Teller. We don't? Oh, shit. Okay, cool. Well, let's go around the grounds real quick then whilst we wait for Teddy to get on the old dog
Fiji
and bone.
time, mate. Fiji time.
So from around the grounds then, it was announced today, we were sort of discussing players going overseas. Angus Scott Young has just signed to Northampton alongside Big Khan. Dow, I mean, you've got your finger on the pulse when it comes to player movements and stuff like this. There is a mass exodus going on at the moment in Aussie rugby, and can you blame Angus Scott Young for bailing?
No, I think he obviously harbours huge ambitions to play international rugby, and he's English qualified, so I think that's part of the big reason why he's jumped ship, and you can't blame him for it if that's what he wants to do, and he's not getting a look in here, you know what I mean, for varying different reasons, but he obviously wants to play international rugby, so he's going to go over there and try his best to do so.
Oh, shit, man.
And they can. England could pick him for the upcoming Test series against the Wallabies.
Huge. But do you reckon he's good enough to make the English side? They've got some good back rowers. He'd be a back row, wouldn't he, over there, or second row?
Yeah,
I reckon he left the red so he didn't have to play in the second row.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Do you reckon he would make it?
I don't know.
I'm not saying he's not good enough. I'm just saying they've got a decent back row at the moment, like Curry and Underhill and all those.
He certainly suits English rugby, I reckon. You know what I mean? He's physical, he whacks people, you know what I mean? He's very abrasive in the way he approaches the game. So I feel like he's going to find some success over there. And it'll just come down to how well Eddie Jones sees him.
Alrighty then, everyone shut the hell up, because on the blower we have the man himself, Teddy Teller, the fly half for the Fijian and Drua. How you doing, Teddy?
Good, thanks, J-Borg. How are you?
I'm living the dream. I got to ask Teddy, you got the chance to run on Suncorp Stadium in technically a home game, but in Fijian colours on the weekend. Obviously, you did it in the last year or two for the Reds, now doing it in the colour of the Fijian and Drua. Was that a bit of a weird experience to be able to do that, to be able to rep two different jerseys on the same home turf?
Yeah, no, it's, as you said, Brisbane's home for me, so having the family there, no matter what jersey I had on, but obviously it's quite special representing the Fijian colours, my country of birth. So, mate, no, very special moment.
Teddy, Dossie here, mate. It's good to. You've obviously come back from a pretty bad injury, ruptured your Achilles for playing for Fiji last year against the All Blacks. But mate, it looks like the first few games back. You're back selling dummies at the line, getting your head through. The boots, the goal kicking's looking good. How are you feeling after your first couple of games?
Yeah, no, Dossie, feeling great, man. Done a bit of work in the off season. First of all, to get the Achilles right with some rehab and the likes. And then we've got a good S&C team down there in the draw camp. They looked after getting the body right. But yeah, as you said, mate, starting to get a bit more confident in sort of taking the line on and really testing out the Achilles in the last couple of games. So yeah, it's been good.
Teddy, I've been obviously lucky enough to watch you play rugby over the last couple of years, but this year you seem to be playing with a lot more passion on the field.
Hell yeah, man.
Agreed.
So throwing that jersey on for you, does it mean more? Does it mean, when you go out there, does it feel like it means more? Does it mean more to you to be wearing that jersey and representing, Fiji?
Yeah, no, exactly. It's mate, whenever you get a chance to represent your country, and that's anyone, whether it be Australia, New Zealand, for this team, it's quite special being the first Fijian sort of Super Rugby team. you obviously do represent the whole country as well. And, you know, we talk quite a fair bit about it, about our pride and that culture behind it. There's a fair bit of culture, even though it's a new team. There's definitely, you know, a lot of pride in the jersey. And as you said, mate, yeah, every time I get the opportunity to represent Fiji in any way, you know, wear my heart on my sleeve for sure.
Good mate, Big Fat Darcy, mate. I've been renowned for not being a great trainer. Who in the Drua is the guy that pretends to have shin splints on a Monday morning, or has a little hammy? And keep in mind that if you look around and think everyone's a good trainer, you're the guy that's not a good trainer. Who would be the guy? Who are we going to dob in? No, you can't do it.
I'll throw Baden under. Nah, Baden that's fortunate injury.
The only white fella in the team.
Love it. That'll do.
He's had a few unfortunate injuries, mate. That's all.
I'll back Teddy up though. I played with Bades and Honda.
Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, mate, terrible. He's tweaking calves.
Just so happens to be the same position as Teddy as well. Just wide end.
Bulla Teddy, it's our friends here, mates. How are the boys finding the competition? Like, you know, fair few are locals and whatnot. Are they finding it like it's the big step up? Like, how are they finding it?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot different to Skipper Cup, friends. And you might have watched a few highlights of Skipper Cup. It's not top quality footy, but you know, it's quite open. Yeah, a lot of rain. But the boys are adapting very well, though. I think the biggest one for us is the fitness side of things. The game part, obviously, Fijians, that we got a different style of play, and it's just sort of keeping up with the pace. Obviously, the second round playing against the New Zealand teams will be a little bit different as well. So, but the boys are embracing the challenge, and there's a lot of belief in camp though. Like when things start to click, we can see where we can go as a team. So that's quite exciting from our point of view. It's just putting it together for a full 80, isn't it? So
that's it, mate. Yeah, it's been awesome to watch. Issy's got his Issy's here actually, sitting over next to us. So he's got he's got his Drua shirt on the weekend. Watch you guys play, but no, he loves watching that stuff too. But mate, yeah, congratulations and all the best the rest of the year. And I'll keep watching it. Buddy Shano, mate. We needed 10 back at Jeep, so
I think you need some front rowers too, considering they've called you out of retirement.
Jealous is a horrible trade of yours, J-Ball.
Well, mate, you said I had a body like a melted wheelie bin a few weeks ago, and it's been keeping me up at night, mate. Thanks for that. Siona, you've got you had a few questions come through the old PAC Instagram during the week, didn't you?
Most of them won't make the cut because it's worthy for a live show.
There we go.
But we've got one here from Josh from Hamilton. He's asked, which brother is your favourite brother?
Yep.
Schmiegel?
How is that even? How are you even thinking about it, Ted?
No, big brother. Big brother.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Who's the angriest though?
Yeah, the little brother.
That's it. We genuinely went out to our 22,000 plus audience asking for questions, and we had many of them come through. And we had one. We had one question that we could use.
One that we could air.
And it nearly broke up his family. Jesus Christ. Mate, our followers are absolute scumbags. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. That's nuts.
Teddy, just quickly, I think you're spot on there in terms of, you guys as the drawer, you've shown in bits and pieces throughout, the Super Rugby comps so far that you can mix it with these guys. It's just about putting that 80-minute consistent performance in. And I know one thing that has worked for me historically in a team environment and, looking to where we're going to search for answers to get that next win was a thing that I used to call Toss Tuesdays. And I brought it to the Reds in 2018. And correct me or not, we went to Argentina and we tossoed on Tuesday and then we beat the Jaguares for the first time that weekend. Is that something that you're going to bring to the Endura? Please.
Tosser Tuesdays, yeah. We might have to swap the Aussie grog for Fijian grog, though.
Yeah,
Good
mate.
luck.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if that'll have the same effect on the boys there.
No, we might have to bring it in, Dusty. I enjoyed your Tosser Tuesdays, mate. I'll try and get it in for the second round.
Well, even if you don't, we'll do it post-season. Just give me a buzz.
Hey, Teddy, I think Big Fat Das had another question for you. Big Fat Das, anything?
After tax, how much do you earn per year? No, sorry. Before tax.
Is that in Fijian dollars?
That'll do. No, I don't actually have a question. Jay put me on the spot.
I did. Three under the bus there, a bit, Big Fat Das. Oh, shit.
Well, what's the answer?
But seriously, how much do you earn? No. But Teddy, I want to ask you as well. Obviously, you had a very storied career in Queensland Premier Rugby before you even made your Reds debut. I don't know the situation that you've got going on at the moment. Once the Super Rugby season finishes, are you aligned to a club here in Brizzy, or do you?
Jeeps, mate.
You are still part of Fiji Jeeps. I don't know. Well,
Yes.
I wanted to
Fiji
ask
Jeeps.
because obviously,
so.
what actually goes once the season finishes? Do you get to come back and actually pull on the jersey in QPR again, or?
Yeah, mate, if I get the opportunity to, definitely. And down at the Gallopers, obviously, Freeney's mentioned it, so I'll be around that. If I get the chance, mate, definitely. But if Shano gives me a go, for sure.
Yeah, there you go. But at the same token as well, obviously the opportunity to wear the white of Fijian national side has got to be right up there. Is the thought of potentially going to a World Cup on your radar as well?
Yeah, mate, it's I've thought about it for sure. Just for myself, I sort of set myself a goal to play quite solid footy through this first Super Rugby competition with the draw first. And I mean, if I get an opportunity at the end of the year or early next year in regards to that Fijian squad for the next World Cup, mate, then definitely put my hand up. But that'll just be a blessing for me, mate, to be honest. So. But at the moment, just trying to put together some consistent footy back to back. So, yeah.
Wonderful. All right, Teddy. Thanks so much for your time this evening, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure to get you on the PAC show, mate. Sorry, I totally forgot. Teddy, don't hang up. Sorry, mate.
Yeah,
we
Teddy,
actually, Sione had something he wanted to ask you.
We just got a fast five to finish off, Teddy.
right.
First question: how many islands make up Fiji?
Oh, good one.
200 plus.
Good answer.
It's correct. It's 300. But
There we go.
next question: out of Sunnybank, UQ, South, Jeeps, which club paid you the most money?
After tax or before tax?
I'll have to say Jeeps dollars.
This is a history question.
Oh.
What is your first Instagram handle? Do you remember? Oh, he's pretending.
No clue, brother. No clue.
It's T-licious Teller.
Oh! Yes.
Combo. That's nice.
Good get.
That's nice. That's my new
Not bad.
Instagram handle,
Not
actually. Give us a follow, T-Licious Teller.
Two more questions. Who is the best coach you've played under?
I'll say my old man.
Good answer. Not getting the hiding tonight, boy.
And to finish off, is it true that you gave yourself the nickname The Answer?
Oh, huge.
No, that wasn't me. That was PG son, just throwing some yarn, but definitely not me.
No anonymous tip. No anonymous tip.
Nah.
Oh, look
He's
at how
sticking to that
shy
story,
he
I
is.
think. Yeah, that'll do.
Blushing.
He's so shy. Alrighty, no, now, Teddy, is the time to say thanks so much for your time this evening, brother. We really appreciate it, mate. You've
Too
done
easy.
all of Fiji. You've done all your people proud. It's an absolute pleasure to see you repping the Fijian and Drew, and we wish you all the best for the rest of the season, brother.
Banaka, Joe Morgan. Thanks for everyone for having me on the show, boys. Appreciate
Awesome.
it.
Thanks, Teddy.
Banaka.
Hell yeah. Teddy Teller, everybody. Oh, yeah, that's right. We have to clap everyone off. Teddy Teller, everybody.
Yeah.
How good? How good is it seeing him play super footy?
He's killing it this year, too.
Definitely very deserve it.
He's been the catalyst. I think him and Frank Lamani have been the catalyst for that Fijian and Drua
100%.
side, where they are just fizzing. They are just firing on all cylinders, and, mate.
Yeah, and I think Dal hit it on the head. He's just playing with... He's gone to another level with his game. I always knew he had the ability. But, yeah, this year, especially coming back off such a horrific injury like rupturing your Achilles, the way he's played the last couple of games, taking the line on, things are looking promising for him, and I dare say he'll be the 10 at the for Fiji at the next World Cup.
Oh, hell yeah, man. He's been an absolute gun. And if you have him with blokes outside him like Semi Radradra and Joshua Tuisova, they would be absolutely awesome. I was just taking the piss. Oh, mate, but that would be absolutely...
So good to watch.
It would be deadly.
Yeah.
It would be damn near impossible to contain them. Now let's quickly go back around the grounds because there has been a bit of player movement and stuff like that, and there's been a bit of chat. So reports have come out that Folau Fainga'a is going to be going to the Force, which means that you'd have to say the two top hookers vying for that Wallabies jersey are going to be repping Force colours next year in Fletty Kaitu'u and Folau Fainga'a.
Fletty's not leaving?
I
haven't heard him leaving or anything. It's crazy.
Dal, you've heard anything?
No, I think they're both going to be there next year.
That's crazy.
And so Andrew Reddy's going to be playing WA Club Comp. Oh, good luck.
Oh, yeah.
He is going to be smoking blokes. But that seems like a bit of a strange move. I mean, who have the Brumbies got? They've got Billy Pollard and Connell McInerney, but
Lockie Lonergan.
Lockie Lonergan, a 3GH, third grade hooker. But shit, like Folau Fainga'a is like the incumbent Wallabies hooker. So I don't know. I don't understand where that's sort of coming from. Why would they be doing it?
Would that be like a new coach sort of coming in, sort of
Simon Cron?
Yeah, just going, I want these players, sort of thing, and trying.
I think it'd more have to do with keeping him in Australia.
Yeah, okay.
So it's obviously probably salary cap pressure at the Brumbies, trying to keep as many of those young hookers as possible. He's probably got 1 year left.
Well, I'm a hell of a lot cheaper than Folau Fainga'a. I can tell you that much. Hell yeah, man! I'm very cheap.
Yep.
Just throwing it out there. Sorry to bogart your story. What were you talking about, John?
No, he's probably got 1 year left in Australia, and they want to keep him for the World Cup, and then he'll be off somewhere after that.
You reckon he'll be bouncing out after the
Yeah,
World
I
Cup?
think so.
Well, like in saying that too, if he's going over there, obviously that could get Fletty's nose out of joint a bit, because he was almost captaining, wasn't he?
He is.
Yeah, he's the captain.
Yeah.
So that's massive. I don't know. You'd be pretty bummed, I guess.
Bit of competition though,
bit
always
of competition.
creates better players.
He's definitely improved a lot, Fletty, so we could step him up a bit more. So
Exactly.
What are your thoughts, Big Fat Dars?
It's pretty good. What do you mean, mate?
I don't have anything to say about that.
There you go.
Big news coming out, though. Sydney Morning Herald is reporting that a Japanese club, potentially, was it Honda and someone else, is willing to throw $1.4 million a season at Tom Banks. So Rugby Australia is scrambling to match that $2.8 million 2-year deal that a couple of Japanese clubs are absolutely hurling at Tom Banks.
I heard they rang Israel Folau just to get a loan off him.
Get some of that money back.
Hey, Baskin, just give us a little cheeky transfer back.
Yeah, we're good for it, man. Not really. Dal, what do you reckon? Do we move heaven and earth to keep Tom Banks? Because Michael Checker made a very good point in a broadcast earlier this year that he's sublime at Super Rugby. In the last few seasons, he's played his way into starting Wallaby 15 at the start of the international season, and then he's not the starting 15 by the end of it. And that's been 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, it's a tough one. He's obviously the incumbent fullback at the moment and is playing some exceptional football. And we've got a World Cup just around the corner, so you're probably trying to keep everyone in Australia as best as possible, but he's probably going to have a big decision to make in the coming weeks.
Hell yeah, man. Well, we were just talking about throwing the kitchen sink at Nella. Do we do the same for Tom Banks?
Oh, no. I reckon I reckon he probably watched Geordie play the other day at fullback and was like,
I'm going to go cash in.
Yeah, I'm cashing in.
Well, there's talk that they might be able to sort of sabbatical type situation, what they've done with Michael Hooper. I mean, is Tom Banks on the level of Michael Hooper to be able to warrant a sabbatical type contract with Australian rugby, Dos?
I mean, look, he probably hasn't done the time like Michael Hooper has. But I think if you look at it from the Wallabies' perspective, and there's good young talent coming through. Obviously, Geordie's doing well. My man Jock's here at the Reds. But other than that, like, we are pretty thin at fullback. Obviously, Kirtley's coming back to Super Rugby next year. So maybe if you look at it position specific, you maybe structure a flexible contract for someone like Banksy just to keep him in the game, because he does have 60, 70 odd Super Rugby caps, 20 odd Wallaby caps. It'll be a shame to see him go, but man, it's an intense amount. Like, it's a huge amount of money.
So much money.
And so he does have a big decision to. Make.
Definitely. Tino, you got
Well,
something?
he does have $1 million to leave on the table, but this could be also a play by Japanese rugby to try and pilfer these players out of if we're in the same pool. Just putting it out there.
Bullshit. Are they really in the same pool as us?
I don't think
mate.
Fake news.
That is fake. I was like, oh,
No,
shit,
but like,
what a play. That's hectic.
At the end of the day, like, if you had to choose between throwing the kitchen sink at Nella or Banksy, you're probably not going to.
No, they don't sit. They don't sit at the same level.
No, they don't.
Hell no.
I reckon we got a good lot. There's a fair few young guys coming through, and I reckon we'll be sweet. But unfortunately, Banksy's awesome, but I think we'll be right.
We do have a hell of a lot of young guys coming through, but there's still some old dogs getting around the traps nowadays. Friends.
Hey?
It is legit. I thought I was being stitched up last week that you've been sent an SOS by Shane Arnold before the season even starts to pull the boots back on to sit in the front row for Jeeps Rugby Club this season.
I wish it
legit.
was. I wish it was fake news, mate. I was quite happy to be chilling on a Tuesday, Thursday night.
What is doing down at Yoku Road? A ball hasn't even been kicked off yet, and they're already sending an SOS.
Miley's in France. I'm thinking he might be a medical joke. I'm not sure what's going on there. Casey's hammy's playing up, and then Muff. I don't know when Muff's going to be back. His knee's no good, and then the young guys. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, I got a phone call. And I was just like, all right, I've got 5 games left until I get 100 at Jeep, so 100 Prem games at Jeep. So I'm like, okay, I'll come and run.
How's your back from going from 2 years of heavily uncontested scrums on a Friday night to having whoa, geez, there were live scrums going. Like, oh,
it felt like someone had severed the bottom of my neck.
Nice.
All of anyway, I had about 4 scrums, and I was on there for about 10 minutes. There was about 4 scrums because it was wet, and I was sore.
You sat on that couch exactly 1 week ago, being like, "Man, I'm so overweight. I'm trying to cut down before the wedding and all this sort of shit."
This is how I'm going to do it.
This is
I'm
how
going to
you
start
do it.
running.
This is
I'm
how
going
you
to
do
start
it.
running tomorrow.
next year.
This is the thing. They call you up the day, but like 2 days before the last trial, and then you've got a 2-week break with a 4-day holiday in between the first game.
I thought, and it's at the filth too. It's at Brothers, at Brothers at Brothers, and I'll tell you what, the jerseys don't feel like they used to.
Yeah, they've shrunk it. I've heard.
Don't stretch as much as these.
Well, we wish you all the best, friends.
Thanks,
Hopefully,
R.I.P.
I don't know, you don't die.
Yeah.
Because
Thanks,
shit,
mate.
man, stranger things have happened. Alrighty, now let's start reviewing some of the footy from the weekend. And on the blower from the Short Side podcast, we've got the Manly Marlins third grade fly half superstar himself, Sam Lane. Laney, thanks for joining us, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, fellas.
So we'll clap.
Yeah, sorry, we've had you sitting there for a while, and we've had some distinguished guests on, Will Slipper, Teddy Teller. Now we've got
Will
fly half.
Slipper.
Will Slipper, James Slipper.
James'
Sorry,
brother.
Yeah, we got him straight off the work site.
I quit.
Sorry. But yeah, we've had some pretty distinguished guests on this evening. Now we've got the Manly Marlins fly half from third grade on the weekend. Can you run us through what is doing with that side? Because it is stacked. Absolutely stacked.
Yeah, and we struggled on the weekend too. I'm pretty sure I strained my quad in the warm-up, so my days are numbered, but it's been good fun.
Did I see yours name?
Yep.
Yeah, so he, I believe, has been let go from the Sevens. He showed up a couple of weeks ago, and Blakey runs a pretty tight ship, so he's making him work for it.
Oh, good.
Oh, what a stitch up.
Just say, mate, yeah, he's not doing any good, mate. We're going to have to keep him here for another week.
Exactly.
Yeah, mate. That's what you do in third grade, man. You just cook the books until the finals come. That's how you do it. That's where the real glory is, man. But
100%.
on a serious note, Laney, we want to get your opinion. We'll review a couple of the games from the weekend just gone down in the Shoot Shield because we saw some absolute corkers. We had BJ on last week to give his thoughts on a couple of things. So, in particular, we want to discuss you being a Marlin. BJ said he could never back the Rats, and we saw the Rats go down 31 points to 16 against Norths. This was fiery as all hell.
Cracker of a game. Yeah, I think two teams that'll be right in the mix at the end of the year. North, as they do, they're probably still running a bit off that Simon Cron era of you see the way they hold onto the ball and they're happy just to move the ball side to side and build their phases, and they scored a couple of tries like that on the weekend. And the Rats, they're a team that, being a Manly boy, I still love watching them because they've got a couple of young players, Woollett at the back. And they showed a bit of that on the weekend, and they were right in it till the end. I feel like they're potentially a player short. I think Hickey, the young 10, he's done a good job, but he's someone that probably looks like a 12 playing 10, and a few decisions cost him at the end there. But, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Ben Maher because he's with the 7. So if he comes back in, I dare say they'll be there or thereabouts come finals time.
Yeah, mate, I'd have to agree based on what you've seen. Then your boys, the Manly Marlins, big win, 41-14 over the Pirates. But all 41 points came in the first half, and then the second half sucked a big bag of dicks, to be brutally honest, from you guys. No points scored in the second half. The Pirates only got 2 tries. I mean, BJ was waxing lyrical about the week before. I mean, it was a close loss considering you had 14 men for 75-odd minutes. I mean, the first half was brilliant from you guys, but then you fell off in the second. Is that good to get the win, but is that a dicey sign for you blokes, you reckon?
Well, I think from Manly's perspective, based on what has been going on there the last couple of years, just to get a win and get that feeling back of singing the boom boom and, awesome. Manly Oval hasn't heard that for a while. So, and they were pretty clinical in that first half. I think you saw the way that Blakey really wants to play. Really good kicking game. Valentini and Omson kicked really well. And then they just want to force mistakes out of their opposition. So play pretty high up the field and, pounce on those mistakes. And you saw that a couple of times with, Langy Gleeson and Max Douglas up the middle. And, West, I'm sure, will be disappointed because I think you probably saw what they could do a bit in the second half. Essentially winning the second half 14-0. But, I think from Manly's perspective, I think Blakey will be disappointed they didn't go on with it. But at the same time, for this group going forward, winning is the key. If you can pick up a win and, momentum is a funny thing. So I think you'll be stoked with that.
Well, we saw as well Gordon 44, South 22. Gordon, would you say Gordon are probably the favourites this season, just based on obviously the last couple of years as well as the way they've started this year, or they'd be one of?
Yeah, I would say for now North would have to be favourites. I think Gordon, they just snuck home last week against Hunter, and they were good. And Billy Melrose coached sides. They're usually tactically really strong, and you saw a few of those moves they ran against South. Using Mahe off the back of a line out with a fake maul and things like that. That's sort of right up Billy's alley, and his teams are always they're always going to be competitive. I don't know. I just feel that other sides have a bit more in them than maybe what Gordon do have, but they've also got some tasks to come back towards the end of the year, so it'll be interesting. I think South for me been disappointing so far. I think last week, being a Manly supporter, it was a poor game from both sides. I thought South could have used the ball and really put some points on us. But again, they showed moments on Saturday when they moved the ball. Kagiasis scored a couple of good tries, and unfortunately, they just seemed to go back to that one-off footy. So I'd like to see them use the ball a bit more, but hopefully they can get it rolling as well.
Well, BJ said last Thursday that he expected the BCs to come out and jag a win against Eastwood. He said they wouldn't have been too happy with their first week performance, and they weren't their best going down 22-17 to the Woodies.
Yeah, they've struggled, haven't they? They had a fairly big turnover of players, I think. Quite a young squad. Jordan Jackson Hope's back there now. He was someone a couple of years ago I thought we were going to see him push up through the system in Australia, and he sort of, I guess, slipped through and had a couple of years in Japan. So it's good to see him back. Jack Bowen, the young 10, I really liked what I'm seeing from him, and he's probably playing off the back of a pack that's not giving him much go forward. So I think, out of everyone, they've probably got the most of the task to come back towards the end of the year. But I think for them, it's about holding on and trying to sneak a win or two just to stay in the hunt, because I think come the end of the year, they could be a bit of a sleeper to make a move up and ruffle some feathers there.
Lewis, you were saying the ECs have lost a few players, but Uni themselves, they've lost a shitload, but they bounced back after that first round loss, 34-21 over Randwick. Randwick looking really good, but, gee, Sydney Uni came to play.
Yeah, and I think the players they lost too, when you mention names like O'Regan and Champion de Crispney, they're guys that kind of give you identity in how you play, just really tough, and they don't take any shit. And what it seems like is these next guys that have come through, guys like Angus Bell at the back, and I think Simon Kennywell on the wing was a really good pickup for them, because they might have lost a bit of punch in that back row of carries, but I think he's someone that we'll see move into the centres and give them that go forward. And I really like their young 10 as well. I think it's Jude Gibbs. Yeah. Looks like he's got time on the ball. So Uni, and well coached as well. They're always going to have guys stepping up, and so young squad, and I'm sure they'll be there or thereabouts towards the end of the year as well.
They always are, unfortunately. It tweaks me, but you've got to give it to them. They run a good team, bastards. And then the last one, a twilight game up in the Hunter. The Wildfires, I think, didn't really fire a shot in the first half, then just went absolutely Godzilla in that second half. 29 points to 12 over the Two Blues. If there's one thing you could say about this game, mate, they were beating the shit out of each other.
Hey, that's the sort of game I watch and go, yeah, I'm done.
Shit, yeah, man. Yeah, that makes the 10 and 50 game on a Saturday morning all the much easier to do.
Man, 100%. It was that the score kind of didn't reflect, I guess, how well Para did, sort of right up to the end. But when you look, I mean, Bubba Coleman, he must have borrowed his brother's little black book, because he's been able to recruit some pretty good talent to Newcastle this year. Like, DC, he's notorious for being able to pull players out of anywhere, and Bubba seemed to have done the same. That Holla, I think.
Lona Holla, yeah. Holla. He was playing for UQ last year, and he was an absolute guy. So sick, and then, dude.
I mean, they got Nafi Tuitavaki. I think he's played for the Crusaders and been all over the world. So they must have some money out there to be able to pull these guys back from overseas. And, I think, teams travelling up the Pacific Highway to Newcastle are going to have pretty sore bodies, and I think they'll take a few scalps up there, that's for sure.
Damn straight. Well, Laney, thanks very much for joining us and reviewing all the action from round 2 of the Shoot Shield, brother. Hopefully we can get you on rolling forward every week. Give us a bit of insight for the comp down there in Sydney. Lads, anything? Big Fat Darts, you've got a question.
Oh, God. All right, sweet. Mate, where exactly are you situated in your house? Are you in the bathroom or the kitchen? Where's the best acoustics that you found?
Kitchen, and I'm having
Kitchen.
to hold my phone because I didn't bring my laptop home. Sorry,
it
so
is.
if I'm shaky, apologies.
It's fine, mate.
It's
You're fine.
accepted. Why do you put me on the spot, lad?
I don't know, because it's funny, man. It's really, really funny. But, Laney, thanks very much for joining us, brother. And everyone, be sure to tune in to Short Side Pod with Sam Lane and BJ Hartman from the Manly Marlins. Hell of a good yarn. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, fellas. Talk to you soon.
Laney.
Thanks, Laney.
Hell yeah. I mean, look, I love BJ, but...
That was a hell of a lot more insightful.
Oh,
Yeah, wasn't it?
Glad someone said it.
Oh, okay. All right, we've got our first ad read. Budgie Smuggler, thanks very much. No, I'm kidding. We don't have Budgie Smuggler anymore. Thanks for that, Dow. You just threw BJ under the bus. No, but in a serious note, let's start wrapping up some of the footy because we've been waffling on a long time with guys like, Will Slipper and the like. I knew that. I did that.
Will Slip.
Unbelievable.
Can't believe I did
Billy
that.
Slips.
Yeah, that's what we call him. Bill Slips. But yeah. So let's have a look. Round 8 of Super Rugby just gone. The Highlanders 37-17 over the Moana Pacifica.
That was a tight
Dogs.
game. That was a tight game.
Well,
They were
dogs, mate.
smashing. They were smashing each other.
Yeah, mate. But we love Moana.
Yeah,
Pacifica,
we
Yeah,
mate.
I believe it.
You weren't here. You didn't feel the passion in the room after we interviewed them all.
Oh yeah, I missed that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was crying out.
I was
for
at
Uncle
training.
Fouye.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it was crying out for Uncle Fouye.
Yeah,
oh
big
man,
time.
it would have been so sick. Shit. We were going to have a look at a couple of the games. Not this one in particular, but my God, this came out of nowhere. Blues 25 or 27? 25 to
Chiefs
the
nil.
Chiefs 0. An absolute duck egg. But that said, the Chiefs actually scored 2 tries that were overturned. So talk about shit in the bed. And then the Brumbies 33 over the Fijian and Drua 12. This was, Teddy was talking about it. It was a pretty physical game, all things considered. And Slip said, ball got around pretty quick. I wouldn't be surprised if the Fijian and Drua's game plan is any chance we're in our own half, let's try and score a try because it seems to be the only time that they start
We're now
to do it.
22. Do not kick it.
Yeah,
it a go.
Yeah,
it's
let's
nuts. Like all of their attacking rates
That's
seem
their footy,
to really
yeah.
kill it, come from their own 50.
Why not when you're all fast?
But in particular, the game we wanted to look for from the Aussie competition, the the Rebels jagging their second
That was-
win
that
in
was another
succession of all things, 22-21. Freens, what the hell happened here, man?
I don't know, but those two just beat the shit out of each other every
It
time
was a
they
good
meet.
game of
it was
footy.
good. It was actually good. But the Rebels that they've been playing since their first win, they've been playing some good footy, and the Force, like they've been playing good footy as well. They just can't seem to beat them.
Oh, mate, it's been a weird one, but the Force are legitimate footy players. But
Yeah.
my God, the Rebels just came out firing. But Dal, how good is Michael Wells playing? I've got to say,
He's so good.
he's turned into just an absolute hitman of Aussie rugby at the moment.
Yeah, he's leading from the front. He's certainly turned a corner with that group, and he's leading them extremely well. I also think that Bobby Tuttle's made a big difference.
Mate,
The general, mate, the
100%.
people's champion.
Best
Sione
friend.
hates him.
Best friend
it's-
Bobby Tuttle.
He doesn't have the most crisp pass in the world, but he's a good director.
He's a general, mate.
Yeah.
He's the best.
And he's
Leads him
obviously
around the park well.
got Joe Powell that he's competing with, and Joe's a class act, but I feel like Bobby's made a real difference to the side.
100%, mate. We
So
love
good.
the people's champ. Let's get him on the podcast. The show. What's this?
Yeah,
The
show.
PAC show.
Yeah.
We'll get him on this sometime soon. He's one of the best blokes you're ever going to meet. Love him to death. We're best friends too. And then from the what is it? Kiwi Super Rugby competition. Sorry, man. The Kiwi Super Rugby comp.
Having a shocker.
The Satyrs 24 over the Canes 21. This one ended in controversy because the Hurricanes, they're playing Golden Point down there. They had an opportunity to kick after the siren to level it up and go to Golden Point, decided to go to the corner, and
They just backed themselves.
it was
mate.
shit
They
house.
backed
It was a shit throw, shit set up on the
Yeah.
maul,
Mate,
and then
I'm telling you, tap and go. I reckon tap and go needs to go.
But-
Stop kicking it. Just tap and go from everywhere.
Take the points. Isn't that what we were just saying?
No, tap and go.
Go back
No,
yourself.
yeah. Mate, they just bash each other over there in New Zealand. I hate to play it. I did say I hate to play it week in, week out.
The more they bash themselves now, it'll be
Yeah.
better for us in a couple of weeks.
That's a good point.
Right? That's the thing. Good
Method to
point.
our madness.
Thanks, Doss.
yeah, man. No, it is that. But well, in that position, Doss, what would you have taken the 3 points?
I mean, yeah, I probably do.
So you're saying you're a better captain than
because there is a goal.
Artie Sarvan.
Because there is golden
ass.
point, and Geordie Barrett's your goal kicker.
Yeah, he can kick from anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and he was kicking unbelievably well. And they ruined my rogue tip for the week because I backed them to bounce back against the disappointment of the Chiefs last week.
True.
And they didn't.
I totally forgot about that. Who won that? Weren't we doing?
Well,
we said you guys were
got
going to
off
actually,
to-
whoever lost had to do something munted. What was it? Drink a warm ton lager or something, friends?
I feel like
Ton's delicious.
but
It's the second best beer behind goal.
There you go.
That's so good. Mate,
cheap too.
Hurricanes, like, they lose a fair bit, but they're
always in it.
stacked. They're always there as well.
Yeah.
That comp over there is effed. Like, it's just too hard. Everyone just smashes each other.
Super Round will be great. It'll give us a good gauge of where Australian rugby sits.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to it.
Reds will win.
Yeah, it was. I
Reds will
would
win.
have taken the points.
Reds will win Super Rugby Trans-Tasman, we reckon. Pacifica. What's it called? Pacifica, that's
Yeah,
right.
we're going to win it.
How
Hell
many?
yeah.
How many warm tons if they don't? How many?
10 in 10 minutes.
Okay.
no.
He's like, whoa, no.
That would actually
One.
be so sick.
I'll do
man.
cruises.
Why?
I'll do cruises.
All right,
10
so
in
if the
10.
Reds don't win
10.
Super Rugby Pacific, you have to delete 10 cruises in 10 minutes.
Wait,
Easy.
I'll go Moana Pacifica, right? I want to get on the cruises. But those big ones, those 3-litre ones. Yeah. Just during the podcast. Oh, we lost. That sucks. Who's paying for the
Dallin.
Double take.
Dallin Ados just walk off.
Yeah.
Can't have it live.
We're going to stand. Douchebags.
No, mate.
All right, then. Now looking at the results from Super W. So we saw the Tars and the Reds. Well, Fijiana, weren't at their best. 17-7 over the Brumbies. Brumbies looking really good in that
they're
competition,
tough.
which
They
is good to
seem
see. Very tough. So the Tars and the Reds were playing each other to see who's going to host the semi-final this Thursday night. And the Waratahs women's side resoundingly showed that they're going to be hosting it with a 46-0 drubbing. Bella McKenzie was absolutely awesome. Natalie Delamere at hooker was red hot for the Tars. They were too good, and Friends, what's doing, bro?
It was a bloodbath.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It was just the Tars started. Pressure was on the whole time. They getting caught behind the advantage line the whole time, and in defence they just making Arabella McKenzie was just had all the time in the world. It was a long day at the office for the gals.
Hell yeah, man.
Finished like, what just happened?
What
just happened?
How'd we go?
What do they have to do? Because they're playing them 4 days later or 5 days later.
Thursday
this
night,
Thursday
this week.
night. What do they have to do to bounce back from a 46-0?
A couple of the girls have got COVID, so they all had to test for COVID before tonight's training.
Oh,
to train. So yeah, it's not a great start.
Yeah, so the prep's going well.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. That's a pretty experienced side, that Waratahs, and they were very angry from losing the week before.
Yeah, big fat ass. What do you reckon the girls are going to do?
You just kind of go, well, how do we play this week? And you go, don't do that.
Yeah, do the opposite.
Do the opposite.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it.
No,
Doss?
I reckon maybe I agree with what Darcy said.
There we go. It's 2.
Maybe I need a whole day.
He really is hungry. Very good point, Darcy. You're fading.
Get him some of those pizza shapes.
Maybe I need to take the Queensland girls on a Tussle Tuesday tomorrow.
There you go.
Get them
There
back
we
on
go.
it. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Wait, are you saying Tosser Tuesday?
Tussle.
Tussle Tuesdays. Yeah. Tussle Tuesdays. It's a Fijian word. Like tussle means like let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
I'm so glad you asked that because I was just playing along like I'm like, yeah, Toss a Tuesday. Cool, man. Oh, yeah, Bula boys.
Put it this way, if they start like they did on the weekend, it's going to be another long day.
Oh.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Just what you want to kick off a 4 day. Yeah, but the thing is, if they lose, 4-day weekend for a Mad Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, yeah.
They'll last half a night and we'll be spewing.
Yeah, you'll be the one celebrating more than anyone else.
Oh, good. Come pick me up.
Sounds like a great weekend for friends.
But yeah, we'll rifle through this pretty quick because we had so many big names on here that we're running a little bit long. Guys like Will Slipper and co. But we just saw at the World Rugby Sevens, Fiji winning gold, New Zealand winning silver. but the Aussies jagging that bronze. So we were just talking to Laney before, and he was talking about some of the shoot shield players being part of that 7 setup. John Manenti has got, he debuted 4 shoot shield players, Ben Maher from Warringah, Michael Isley and Matt Gonzalez from Eastwood, and Tim Clements from Sydney Uni. Like, that's pretty damn red hot to be able to, they're dipping into the shoot shield a hell of a lot. Not so much QPR, Doss. Who do you reckon a QPR would be red hot? We saw Chapo last year.
Yeah.
Took long enough. He only had to kick so much ass for so long before they finally gave him a Guernsey. But who in QPR at the moment do you reckon, Doss?
Oh, jeez, you
Who was that? Get out.
No. My cardio is disgusting. And I'm too slow.
Oh, okay. Well, then no.
Who's that guy on the Aussie Sevens with the jet shoes?
Toole.
Mate, he is ridiculous.
Corey Toole, is it, Sione? Yeah, mate, he is red hot, man. He is so sick.
So fast.
Yeah,
the
man.
fastest goal we've ever had, surely.
I don't know.
Yes.
I saw him score a try and I was like,
he's pretty fast.
Perry Baker fast. Like,
he looks it, mate. He
That
made
fast.
that schmuck from Argentina look like a 2-bit whore, man. He was absolutely running rings around him. But back to the question, Doss. Who outside of Freens do you reckon from QPR should be playing for the Aussie Sevens?
Geez, I'm going to have a think now. I mean, if I go off the top of my head, someone who I think would go really well at Sevens is Jack Frampton from East.
Yep.
He's obviously had a few issues with his hip over the last couple of years, but I think he'd do well. And young Nate Carroll, who's down at the Brumbies now, but who was at Brothers, I think could go well in the 7-man game
He's sick,
as well.
dude.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Down.
I rate him.
Oh, it's a tough one.
Just going through your book in your head.
yeah.
Who can I plug? Who can I plug here?
Someone like Coyotes.
Oh, yeah.
Those brothers.
Yeah.
Even BJ as well. I feel like
Bala
if given the
Beach.
opportunity, they go quite well in the Sevens game.
Hell yeah, man. They'd be so red hot. Big Fat Dash, your thoughts?
I was going to say Ryan Freeney, but he's just ruled himself out because of his fitness, apparently, and his speed.
That was it. Nothing else. Not being 130 kilos or anything. Absolutely blown.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. We put it in the squad, see what happens.
Could be a good trim down anyway.
We've got 4 days.
Yeah.
Oh, alrighty. Okay, well, let's that rounds out some of the footy that we're reviewing from the weekend. Doss, your rugby watch. Who was on your radar from the weekend? Just
my
gone?
rugby watch this week comes from a losing team, but I really like the look of Bailey Quenzel at the Western Force, the number 12.
Yeah.
Man, love the look of him. I think just as that second playmaker, he's got all the skills. Obviously, a good goal kicker, kicked that winning goal against Ndrua, and he's physical. He doesn't shirk away from that hard stuff. But yeah, I think he's one to watch, and is my rugby crush this week.
He's one that's gone over to the Force as well and seemed to have rejuvenated his career, which is really good. Dow?
Bowden Barrett, obviously
Clinical.
last couple of weeks,
Unreal.
fair few head issues, and I think that plays on your mind a fair bit. But for him to go out and put out the performance he did on the weekend is just shows the class of the man.
I think 4 days ago we were like, is this the end of him?
We were. We actually were.
Yeah, mate, if that's him playing with a head knock, shit, man.
Yeah, scary.
And he's not getting any younger as well. Like, he just keeps dominating.
Oh, mate.
I'm so sick of that play.
And the, thing
I'm so
is,
sick of that play.
the thing is, he goes away like he went away on his sabbatical, and everyone was like, shit, Richie came out of the woodwork and absolutely carved up, and everyone's like, oh,
See ya,
man, was that
Bowden, yeah.
sabbatical bad for his career? And then everyone's like,
How's he going to get back in the team?
oh, shit, man. Yeah, and he's done it again.
But it just shows the class of the guy, right? To go away, he's coming back. I'm sure he's well aware that the World Cup's next year, and now it's his time to, grab that 10 jersey, make it his for the next 12 months leading into the World Cup. But yeah, he was phenomenal on the weekend.
We're talking like he's just some other schmuck. This dude's like literally 2-time World Rugby Player of the Year consecutively.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, yeah,
I mean,
this is the end of him.
He just doesn't seem to slow down either.
Yeah.
It's
And
ridiculous.
because
sores.
of how well Richie's been going,
Yeah.
you're
I
quick,
think
you're
that's
quick
the
to
biggest
forget
thing.
all that stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, he left a timely reminder on the weekend that
I think that's the biggest
Don't
thing.
sleep on Bowden Barrett.
When
Yeah.
you see Richie just dominating that competition, it's easy to forget just how good Bowden Barrett is. Big Fat Dash, your rugby?
I was going to say James Slipper with his 150th game.
What about
But-
Will Slipper?
I do prefer Will. But I'm going to go with Ryan Freeney right here, right? Heeds the call, comes in, right? Contested scrums. What a hero.
Look at the tie there too.
Right. Oh! You didn't mention
Bullshit.
that.
Not that anyone
I seen on the
Not that
cake.
anyone
I
asked.
seen on the cake.
I was copping it too from the Sunnybank
Oh,
supporters
yeah.
right there. And they were just into me and they got tight end. I was like, hey, you go. But there was a lot of old boys running around for Sunnybank. I was like, what are you guys doing out?
Like who?
You having chats during the game? And it's
Rex
like, mate,
Tathwai. Rex.
Rex.
Rexy's having a run. Dave Fiao still running around. Buddy Peter Lee.
Yeah, they haven't been much chopped for a few years, so I think they're just relying on them.
Yeah,
to
please
help them out a
come.
little bit.
Samana is playing. Anyway, my rugby.
Slim
Thanks for
Reaper.
asking.
And your rugby friends?
Blackadder from.
Oh
Canberra.
yeah, gun.
Mate, he's
Yep.
ridiculous.
He's
He's
so
ridiculous, mate. Oh, I just love watching him play. He just destroys everyone.
And what's so crazy is when you think of someone like Ethan Blackadder,
Yeah.
his competition are guys like Shannon Frizzell,
Yeah.
Akira Ioane.
Akira Ioane,
Yeah.
Lachlan Bashir, guys like that. And then there's guys like Big Red Robinson, who,
Yeah.
How
in
good
my
was he?
opinion, was awesome on the
Yeah,
weekend.
he's sick.
He
Tom
hasn't
Christie.
even Tom Christie, thanks Tino, but he hasn't even played for the All Blacks as yet. Tom Robinson would be a 50-game Wallaby if he was playing in Australia. Nearing 28, playing the way he plays. Shit,
but
man.
mate, I would hate to do like contact at training and stuff.
Yeah.
just in general.
Oh, did you in general, but like, imagine having to train like they're so intense at the ruck. You're like, oh,
Yeah, and you
That's
just know at
horrible.
training they'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
full noise,
Yeah.
boys. And you're like,
just full Canterbury and just smashing each other.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
make sure you got your 21s in.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, come
Yeah.
on, man. Alrighty. That rounds out this week's episode of the PAC Show. We're probably not doing anything this Thursday evening, being the 4-day long weekend, but we might be back next Monday. Do you reckon you guys keen to do a Monday
I'm keen
session?
to do it next week, mate. Yes, and I will improve, and hopefully all do, because that was
I won't
wasn't one of
improve.
our best. But you know what?
I won't improve. And I'll be keen to come, but we'll see if I'm allowed.
Yeah.
Just
Look at this.
jokes.
Let's just go. Look, he's got double stripes on tonight.
Mate.
Social suicide.
Oh, no good.
Unbelievable. Who dressed you? Anyway,
Myself.
I'll be here next Monday.
But yeah, so as I was saying, nothing this Thursday night, but we will be back 1 week from now, Monday next week, Easter Monday, to be reviewing, previewing, and all that sort of stuff. Dos, Dallin, Big Fat Das, Freeney, Sione, Tino, Is, and Zachy Boy, thanks very much for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in at home, and we'll see you next week. Yo-yo ma.